Now, the only one thing I think we all try to focus on is the training of the mind and body. Yeah. So if I use this word, so if we just use mind and body, which is a good English word, and I think is more people would accept it instead of just if I use too many of the Chinese words, it completely confuses people and people don't even know what we're talking about. So I think we use the good word, the mind and body. How are we going to train the mind and how we train the body? So this is the main things we're talking about. Okay, yeah. Now, why I have to say this is because, just like now I said to Raymond, Rebecca, his friend, right? We have people training, these mind and body all over the world. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay, yeah. Every race would have their energy work. Every race would have their energy work. Right. Yeah. But like I said, I cannot really comment on other people's energy work simply because I don't speak the languages. So how can I comment, how can I comment on other people's work? I don't even know what they're talking about. So I can only comment on the Chinese side because at the end of the day, this is where I spent, my whole life into it, 60 years of training and learning. And now I have tried to share some with you. So for people who like it, so please use it as a reference and things like that. But at the end of the day, you will get to the levels of spontaneous reactions. Now, this is the main thing. So what is a spontaneous reaction? So this is why it's very important. So like I said, it's like a pyramid, okay? Yeah. Underneath the pyramids, there are thousands of different people doing different system, different, methods of trying to build up the energy right up to the tip of the pyramid, shall we say. So underneath the pyramid, shall we say, the bottom, okay, these are the conscious, we call 有為功法, conscious methodology, which means conscious exercises. Yeah, so these are conscious exercise right at the bottom. It doesn't matter. They're all good. Every styles are good. Okay, yeah. So how good it is, how are we going to justify? Well, if your energy level can building up slowly, right to the top, where you have spontaneous reaction, which is we're obviously controlled by your subconsciousness. So opposite of bottom part is consciousness. At the peak is subconsciousness. Okay, yeah, then it's good, isn't it? Why is it good? Because you want self-healing, do you? Because you talk about health. When we talk about health, it's all medicine, isn't it? It's all medical study, right? Yeah. So like I said, some people prefer it in the spiritual, but when even you go to the spiritual, you still use the word spiritual healing. True. If you say, oh, miracle healing, doesn't matter, it's only a name. Do not argue about the name. So it is a healing. So a healing involved. But because there's no medications that are used and the body heals itself, isn't it? Because you don't see a spirit. So you call it spiritual healing. Fine, nothing wrong with it. Or you call energy healing. Or you call, oh, it's a miracle because all the other medical medication fail, and then at the end of the body heal itself. So people call it miracle because no medication have been used. So this is why we all use different names to address this human mind and body self-healing ability. Don't you agree? So this is the advantage of myself comes in because I've been like, you will, I'm telling you, you will gone through the same path like myself. So since I've been there, I've seen it, I've done it. And many of my students have done it as well. So I'm sure every one of you should be able to reach that levels because it's only a human. If I'm a ordinary guy, I'm not a master, right? I'm not Harry Potter. If I can do it, you can do it. So it is a matter of how you're going to do it. Now, some people already, they're born with it because that's why the people call it, oh, these are gifted people. They have power of paranormal. Now, there's where another part of this study come in. Yeah, but the problem is that people can do amazing things that other people cannot do, but can you controlling it? So this is where research, my lifetime work comes in, is because we want to turn this into a controlled therapy, aren't we? Okay, now, because at the end of the day, yourself first. So talk about yourself, not me. Okay. So if you're ill, if you got problems, so you keep training, of course, the body will cell heal. That's the whole objective, is the cell healing ability. Okay, yeah. So even after you don't know what's wrong with you, because some of the illnesses, it's inside. And also not only that, because we are affected by the cosmic energy, which is outside. Okay, 24/7, every second. Okay, so that's why sometimes we get better and sometimes we going back to ill again, sometimes we go better. So that's why it's a cycle of being well and being sick. Now, our training objective is to control that cycle, isn't it? Now, that's why they call internal Neidan Taoist medicine. There's only a Chinese name, right? Like I say, if you don't want to use it, that's fine. You can call it self-healing, because that internal medical, Taoist medicine is we don't use medication. Now, this is very important. We don't use medication. Now, so they classify outside the body using medication. Now, they're all good. They call it Wei Dan. They call it Wei Dan. It's external medications, which you can use drugs, tablets, herbal remedy, okay, stimulation with the acupuncture, with needles, moxibustion, right? Or even tuila, bone settings, chiropractic. Don't forget our teacher, in university, chiropractors, and also a physiotherapist, right? For the last 15, 17 years. Okay, yeah. So they're all good. They're all good because they're helping people. But this is outside the body. You have to rely on something else, not relying on yourself. It's very good, but you might run out of money because everything is expensive. If you want somebody, medical profession to help you, isn't it? Okay, so therefore, the ancient Taoists, the ancient Chinese would classify that, yes, there's only a stimulations. So the yin and yang principle come in. If there's a stimulation outside, there should be a reaction inside the body. So when you're inside the body, that means a natural body medicine comes in, isn't it? So I'm just trying to put the puzzle together. So at least give you a bigger picture. So you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, yeah. So that means the body itself, the natural body healing medicine. But what are they? We call it Neidan. We call it internal medicine. But what are they? Where did they come from? How are you going to control it? Right? So even yourself inside, okay, how are you going to open up? Open up your inside to allow it, your body, natural body medicine coming out. That's why it's a medical study. Then how are we going to use exercises? Now, one word is, how are we using physical exercises, which is conscious methodology, to open up your endocrine system, right? In today's modern medical term, in the ancient Chinese medicine, upper dantian, middle dantian, and lower dantian. So that is whole endocrine system. How are you going to open that? Because they control what? The glands of today's. True? So master glands, pituitary glands, pineal glands, thyroid, parathyroid, right? All kind of glands, right? Ovary glands, adrenal glands. So we have the entire endocrine system we know now. Isn't it not medical study? But the ancient Chinese, of course, we don't use that kind of name, that's all, but we have 4,000 years of registrations of all this. Like I said, I don't speak other cultures. I cannot comment on other culture, but I can only share with you from the ancient Taoist side. So the question is, even the movement, how are you going to connect using that as a stimulation to open up your inside? That means open up your endocrine system. Now, okay, even you can open it up. You open it up, the medicine come out, which now the ancient call it Neidan, internal Taoist medicine, or you call it natural body medicine. That's fine. That's good. Don't argue about the words, right? We talk about the same thing all the time. Yeah. Can you control it? Can you control it? Because we talk about control therapy. You're trying to heal yourself. So if you don't even know what type of, medicine, right? How are you going to deal with that? Okay. Now, so all this energy work, we talk about energy. Yes, there are loads of energy inside. Biochemical energy, neurological energy, and also musculoskeletal energy. These are the three things directly involved in our methodology. Okay, so in the ancient Taoist, we talk about 14 major organs. That's the life force. Some people use it, the word life force, which is fine. Like I said, all words are good. But when you come to the crunch of it, what do you mean by life force? So a lot of the time, people put it into the spiritual side. That's fine. It's also fine, but I'm not that kind of teacher. I cannot help you on that. You have to go to find a spiritual teacher. But as a Taoist, medical professors, I can only help you is we're looking at the life force is organs, your own health. So in the external Taoist medicine, we look at 12 organs, 12 major organs. Okay. Now in the internal, we look at 2 more organs, which is the spine, which is heavenly pillar, and our brain. So that makes 14 major organs. Now, each organ, they are an energy zone, isn't it? If you want to call it. They are life force. Now, how are we going to regulate it? How are we going to regulate these? Your body, your health. So that's why it is very, very important. At least I say that I try to, share with you 4,000 years of registration in China. It's not easy because we got so many different teachers, right? Yeah, using different names, and a lot of time, even in China, I'm telling you that we got big problem in China. So God help you guys outside China, because we got so many so-called master in China. They're not even qualified. They don't even know what they're doing. They're not qualified in the Taoist medicine. Then they come out and they start teaching all other people. So to me, that's fine. I'm not going to run anybody down, but this is people's life. This is your life you're dealing with. Now, look after yourself. The energy bubbling up, you put your hands out. Fine, it's good. It's very nice. You want to help people. So, but can you control that? Do you know how to control it? So these are all the problems we have to face. Right? Like you saw me, I put energy into a person. How long? How long I should put energy in there? How much energy to put in? That's where the yin and yang comes in. Why? Because when we we're talking about yourself, you have to be good now, your energy bubbling up. You will. Everybody can. Like I said, everybody can. But would it be better for you to learn how to controlling it? Now, when you reach that levels, you will find that your energy will come out. So as a internal Taoist physician, we don't use any medication. We use our energy as a trigger point, right? To trigger this, the person in front of you, your patients. Try to help him. That means you try to open up his endocrine systems. You try to open up his glands and induce a natural body medicine. Now, there's over 80 different types of internal medicine registered for 4,000 years in China. And in 2 days, they call it the hormones. And there are over 60 of them now. Which hormone control what organs? Do you know? How much you should allow the hormone come out? Do you know? Or the Neidan, the natural body medicine come out? Do you know? Isn't it all very dangerous? Because at the end of the day, it's good that you want to help people. And I respect that. But don't you think we should finish your study before you go out to help people? Because if not, I'll tell you what, in China, what makes you think that the Chinese government came down on a lot of these so-called groups? Because a lot of people die. A lot of people die. Thousands of years in the records. Because at the end of the day, Very simple, very, very simple. If the hormones, right, we call the natural body medicine coming out, right, it's good. So it helps, right? It helps revitalizing it, self-healing, but in a way that some because the growing rate of cell, the regeneration of body cells, they are all different. They're all different. So different time comes in, right? The heart, if you look at the molecule, the cellular level of the heart, it's like a pump. The function of it is the pumping blood. And if you look at the lung, right, the cellular level, the structure of it, the molecule of it, or the particle, whatever you name it, call it, is different because why? The function is to absorb. And it's like toilet paper, like tissue, because it absorbs oxygen. Why the heart is like rubber? Because it's pumping. So that means the time of regeneration of the cells straight away is different because this is like a rubber, right? It will probably need more time. And this is like a toilet paper, very fine. It might less time. So all the organs, the 14 major organs, they have all special function. So you have to allow time for your own body cell to grow, isn't it? Before you start doing something else. Don't you think? So is it not medical study?